guys, it's Alexa again, and you're watching Titanic. There are some very strange, very out there celebrities in Hollywood, but the few on this list seem to step that up a notch or two. From weird displays of affection to an accidental shooting of a spouse, this list contains some of the more interesting things that the craziest of celebrities have done. Welcome to our list of celebrities who are total weirdos. Bill Murray. He's an actor that has earned a pretty darn big name for himself over the years by starring in film after film, and then somehow, just a few years back, he became sort of a celebrity among celebrities. He's known for some pretty odd little personal quirks, his photobombing, his childishness, his party-crashing ways, and at times, his stubbornness and temper. It's said that he once headbutted the director on the set of Charlie's Angels and has had a few spats with co-stars. It's also rumored that he doesn't take on roles unless he's home to personally answer the phone when someone calls with an offer, turning down roles he was out of the house for. He's quirky, he's fun, he's genuine, and he's weird, which means that he definitely earns a place on this list. Nicolas Cage. It's understandable why Nicolas Cage is a bit weird. I mean, the guy's been famous for most of his life. Since he was basically a kid, he's been in the spotlight, and something like that can do crazy things to a person. He dresses strange, nothing wrong with that, buys and collects things like dinosaur skulls, has had many a very embarrassing, intoxicated public moment, has a pyramid all set up and good to go for his body to be buried in when it's his time, and he even only eats animals that have dignified, relations. Not to mention, he's made some very interesting career choices and has taken on some genuinely odd roles in his time. But that's okay, because he's Nicolas Cage. And at this point, that kind of grants him the power to do, whatever he wants. Tom Cruise. Everyone's known that Tom Cruise is a bit weird and out there for quite some time, and no, it's not just his height that makes him a little creepy. Remember that time he went on Oprah's show and jumped up and down on the couch and professed his love for Katie Holmes? Yeah, we know. Everyone knows about that, and it's been talked about for the past 13 years. But that was a weird moment from an odd guy, so we feel like it's worth mentioning. He's also super into Scientology, and nothing against anybody's religion, but isn't that maybe just a cult? No judgment here. If you want to be in a cult, that's fine. But he's allowed it to separate him from his own child, and that just doesn't seem like something any sane person would do. Recent reports say he even hasn't seen Suri in years because she's not a Scientologist. That's a little bit weird. He exiled his niece from family functions because he once saw her kissing a boy. He told his ex, Katie Holmes, that she couldn't date for 5 years after their divorce and didn't allow any noise while his daughter, Suri, was being born. That's just the tip of the iceberg, but we don't have enough time to go on, so we'll just let you look into it further. Tom Cruise, one of Hollywood's weirdest celebrities. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Okay, so Philip Seymour Hoffman obviously had to be maybe a little bit weird given the roles he decided to take. Well, maybe the roles just found him, but that's because he was so good at putting himself inside those characters and bringing them to life that pretty much no one besides Mr. Hoffman himself could have pulled off. He brought his own problems, his own insecurities, his own weirdness to the table to portray some oddballs throughout his time on Earth, and we respect the heck out of him for it. It really is too bad that he had to pass away at such a young age and with so much potential left in him. He'll definitely be forever remembered for his ability to fully embody any character that he set out to portray on screen and on stage, and he'll be recognized for doing it better than almost anyone else. A sweet guy in real life, a character actor like no other, a man who could portray weird because he knew it. We'll miss you. Angelina Jolie. Everyone knows her now as this beautiful, kind of elegant, reasonably great actress, but back in the day, she was one strange cookie. One can almost forget her strangeness from back in the day because it's been so long since she's displayed any of her really odd behavior, but once you begin remembering, it'll all come back in a flood. When she was young, she did a lot of drugs and, well, a lot of odd things. Like when she married Johnny Lee Miller and decided to write his name in her blood on a white t-shirt. She then got over Johnny and married Billy Bob Thornton, and the two wore vials of each other's blood around their necks. She once French kissed her own real-life blood brother and sort of crept everyone out in the process. She's most definitely got a dark side and is into things that many young ladies aren't into, like blood and knives and all sorts of other weapons. Angie is also now involved in a genuinely bitter divorce and custody battle with Brad Pitt and is showing her true colors, but with all the weirdness everyone's known about for years. I've got to say that Brad can't be entirely surprised. Christopher Walken. We all know Christopher Walken, or we at least know his voice. We'd say that he probably has one of the most recognizable voices in the business, and he uses those voices to creep us out in the weird roles he decides to take on. You know that somebody who can play strange, sinister characters as well as Walken has to be weird themselves out in the real world. Did you know that Christopher Walken has a fascination, more like an obsession, with cats? He's particularly interested in and obsessed with their tails, what those tails can do, and what emotions those crazy tails can convey. There's also the whole Natalie Wood thing. He's just a little strange, and that seems to bleed through into his performances, but hey, more power to him. He's made it work and is richer than us, so good on you, Mr. Walken. Nick Nolte. You may or may not already be aware, but Nick Nolte is just a little bit strange. Did you know that he's admitted to playing games like Dance Dance Revolution to try and keep himself young? There's no problem with the game, because it's great. But is that something you would want to tout as your anti-aging plan? He's apparently obsessed with trying to slow down aging, and a lot of people are, but he really believes he can do it with his DDR, a strict organic diet, and lots of vitamins and pills to keep healthy. All that sounds great, right? Well, he was arrested in 2002 and charged with a DUI for driving under the influence of GHB, which he stated he'd been taking for years, all while trying to stay healthy and keep from looking his age. He looks all of his 77 years now, so much for that weird health plan. Lindsay Lohan. We probably don't even need to say much about this young lady. It's been well known for quite some time that she's weird and has lots of problems, so we'll try and keep this short. This former it girl has gotten her fair share of DUIs, has attended various rehabs, failed court-ordered drug tests, been sentenced to jail, gotten in public scraps with paparazzi and boyfriends, and has just basically lived the life of a train wreck of a pretty grand proportion. She seems to be doing a little bit better now, according to what we can gather, and is working on multiple different projects. Maybe she's getting back on track and we'll see her make some kind of Hollywood comeback. Either way, she's a bit crazy and weird and most definitely earned her spot on this list. Charlie Sheen. Where do we even start with this strange dude? Remember a few years ago when he was winning and a rock star from Mars? Yeah, so do we. And that's just kind of the beginning of the examples of why he's a weirdo. He's assaulted people, including ex-girlfriends and his ex-wife Denise Richards. He actually pulled a knife on one of his ex-girlfriends and accidentally shot another. He's also supposedly slept with thousands of women, has destroyed hotel rooms, had drugs delivered to him, and even did so much cocaine that his dad had to call the cops on him. Rockstar from Mars? Maybe. He is about as alien and weird as they come, and for a time no one even knew if the guy was going to make it. Well, he did, and he seems to have kind of dropped off the face of the map. Maybe it's because he was diagnosed with a terrible disease that made him realize he was truly immortal and not some god. Who knows? Sheen is weird, and that's a fact. Gary Busey. Here's one of the stranger of the strange dudes on this list. Gary, a whole lot of crazy Busey. Back in the day, Mr. Busey seemed to have it all and was doing quite well for himself. He starred in movies like Lethal Weapon and Point Break, but what many didn't know is that he was struggling a bit and losing his marbles after he got in a motorcycle accident in 1988 and severely fractured his skull. Doctors believe that he might have permanent brain damage, and they were right, and it slowly showed more and more as the years have worn on. A psychiatrist named Dr. Charles Sophie analyzed Busey during the filming of Celebrity Rehab in 2008 and stated that he believed the motorcycle accident had a far more significant effect on Busey's brain than anyone had realized. Busey is impulsive both in action and in speech, and Sophie thinks that the accident is to blame for it, as it probably weakened some of the actor's mental filters. So he's not even entirely to blame for his weirdness, but that doesn't mean he can't make lists of weird celebrities, so here he is. We've seen a lot of crazy so far, and we still have one more to go, but first, who did we leave out? What other weird celebrities do you know that we've forgotten? Let us know down in the comments below. Courtney Love. Oh boy, here's crazy Courtney Love. She's been mad for as long as we can remember, which makes sense because according to friends and family, she's been a big ball of nuts her entire life. This lady has done so many illegal drugs that it's kind of a miracle she's still around and coherent at this point. She's, as most of you will remember, the mother of Kurt Cobain's only child, Frances Bean, and has had to fight more than once to keep the poor girl. She's gone on many incoherent rants in real-life interviews and on social media. She once got really drunk and appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman and basically flashed like everybody. She's had freakouts on fans and flight attendants and God knows who else, so much more. She's sort of the queen of crazy, and her weirdness really does know no bounds. We doubt anyone will ever take the title from her, and she'll probably reign as weirdness supreme for eternity. Weirdness must just come with celebrity. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our great new content, and check out this awesome video we picked out just for you.